Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, I'm Lauren, aka That Vain Gal. Thank you so much for joining us today, old and new. It means the absolute world for your support, so thank you. So this month's Insta poll was split into two parts. This is part A, and as you'll see from the thumbnail, it is all things dating. Let me tell you, tea is going to be spilled, blood will be shed, and I might be dumped after I tell you my horror stories and what I actually went through before loose. But yeah, when I was like, I wanted to do polls on dating and relationships, and I thought that's going to be one hell of a long video, and these videos are already as long as it is. Part A, I put up a disclaimer, or not a disclaimer, just a permission slip, where I was like, girls, you don't have, boys as well, boys participate, so boys as well. I was like, girls and boys, you don't have to be single to do this poll. Obviously, I'm in a very committed relationship the past 2 years, so I was like, I have so many horror stories from dating and dating apps. Everyone has their experience from dating apps. Tell it how it is. So that brings us to today, and today I'm going to tell you what the results were. I'm so buzzing for this part A and part B. It is like right up my street. I'm just going to be completely transparent with you. I'm going to tell you my experience and traumatised. So on that note, shall we get into it? But don't forget, if you like this video, subscribe to my channel, hit that wee bell, and that is all you need to know. Let's go. A little bit of background on the Lashes Love and Life series. Basically, once a month I'll put up polls on my Instagram, which you can follow me at That Vain Gal, and it is literally just about a particular topic. I might ask for some ideas beforehand, some question pointers, but it's literally just about the one topic, and this happens once a month in the last day of the month, and you just tick, comment, whatever you want to do to the polls and get involved, and it's literally that simple. Okay, so a little bit of background info. Before I ended up in a relationship, I was a serial dater, like Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, when I like even Plenty of Fish at one point, and that shit is just weird, straight up creepy. I have a fair bit of experience with the dating game and dating in general, and just all the traumatising shit that seems to come with it, and the problems, and you have to be their psychologist, and the fact that they're silly boys, and the fact they're players, and the list can go on. So lucky to not be dating anymore because it is hard, and God knows my heart goes out to you girls that are still playing the dating game, because it is brutal and it is shit, and it definitely makes you doubt happy ever after. Like my dating career, right, I call it a career because it was extensive. Like if I put my dating on my CV, I would be retired now. Tinder for me was like the big one, but it's also the most horrifying one. Like, oh my god, Tinder is the worst dating app. I do not recommend Tinder at all to anyone. I actually went loose on a dating app, but that was Bumble, so it's okay. So this brings me to my first question. What dating apps do you most commonly use? Like Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, or other? Now for the other options, people put like Plenty of Fish. I get that. I did go there one time and it was like an all-time low, like disgusting. No offence to anyone who may like this app, but I just found it creepy. There's a lot of copy and pasters, like they sent that message to every single girl, and I was the victim of many copy and paste. I'm not over it. I'm not over it. So back to what dating apps people most commonly use. The answer was of course Tinder. No surprises whatsoever there. It was my most commonly used app, but I definitely recommend branching out. Make sure you're exploring them all. They all have different purposes, they all have different vibes, they all have different men. So obviously Tinder, you swipe right. If they swipe right too, it's a match. That's how it works. You just have to see who's going to talk first. It could be you, it could be him. And you have Bumble. Now Bumble is the girl. So I quite like this, made me feel in control of my matches. But then you would match with some boys and just wouldn't say anything. It's like, why did you swipe right then? Just a wee bit messy. But with Bumble, I wasn't actually on Bumble that long before I met Lewis, which is quite interesting because I wish I just went on it sooner. Bumble is like Tinder in the sense that if you swipe, you match. However, when you do match, the girl has 24 hours to write her opening message, her opening speech, her Oscar winning performance. And once that's in, the guy has 24 hours to reply, and if he doesn't, that's it, he's gone forever. I mean, we get creative, and yeah, I liked it. My opening message to Lewis on Bumble was in his bio. Obviously girls actually read bios, which is something guys probably don't do a hell of a lot. So I was like, okay, looking at bios, and he said something about being a twin, and I was like, oh, are you the Aunt Deca twin life? And that was my opening line, and here we are 2 and a bit years later in our own flat. So it worked, girls. I definitely recommend Bumble. Then you have Hinge. I did meet one person off Hinge, and he was a wee bit older than me, like not too old, just like a few years older, and he worked in the Vigs, and he just, you know that way guys just ooze that I think I'm something and like you would be lucky to date me vibe without overly like being obvious about it. Just a grade A prick, put it that way. Went for food, and he was like just talking about girls he'd met before off dating apps, and yeah, I met this girl, she was a doctor. I was just like, have you met this girl? She's banging. But yeah, honestly, like, what the fuck even was that? I was just sitting there thinking, if she's a doctor, go to the A&E department she works in for a broken heart. Just stupid, right? And I was just sitting there eating my ice cream like, hun, ice cream should not be this toxic. It should not be that difficult. You just eat it, enjoy it. It should not be that deep. Yeah, that's how Hinge went. So of course, 72 people put Tinder, 72%, sorry. I'm not quite at that amount of people taking part in my polls yet. But yeah, 72% to Tinder. But then the next question was, what dating apps have the worst horror stories? No surprise, coming out top is Tinder. Like, Tinder's the most used app, but it's also the one with the most horror stories. Nobody put Hinge. Hinge is quite innocent. I would say Hinge is more the kind of professional dating app. I've seen a lot of posh boys on there, what I would consider posh boys, and it's kind of more designed to get you chatting, but it can come across as too friendly. But I would definitely say I can't see Hinge having that many horror stories. Now the 5% that put Bumble was actually my boyfriend. I'm like, babe, you met me on there? Like, hello? He does have one horror story on there, and I don't know if he'll like me to tell about it, but let's just say it was bad. Then faith was restored, courtesy of Ma. Sliding into his DMs about the Aunt and Deca twin life. You're welcome, babe. Let's talk horror stories, right? Let's spill that goddamn tea. So, time again, right? Tinder. I don't even know, right? I did meet some people on Tinder. We went on dates. However, and then we made pals with them. Like, we got on, we had a really nice date, but I remained Facebook friends with them. I got on with them, and I'm like, there's no reason not to be pals. And I still do have a few people on my Facebook who I went on dates with like a few years ago. I would still like their stuff, I'd still support their stuff, but there's literally nothing in it. It was like, okay, I met you on a dating app, but I so support your shit. Like, even though we were meant to be, I support you, you're a nice person, and you have my loyalty. Then you have some people, and honest to God, right, like, I don't know what happened, but I seemed to attract really submissive guys, and it was just so cute and innocent to start with, and then suddenly they got locked up. What the fuck? I'm open. I'm not dissing people that are into those kinds at all, but where the fuck does it come from? Like, you're literally just sitting talking, it's all cute, like, oh my god, you're so cute, and then it's just like, lock me up, bitch, and keep the key. Like, what? Just there, like, actually put up on my Facebook when I officially broke up with Tinder, and that was the day I joined Bumble. And then for less than a month I met Lewis. Bumble was my let's restore my faith, I will kind of moment, and went on Bumble, and I was like, okay, let's do this. And yeah, it worked out well for me. So I would definitely say, if you're feeling like Tinder is just all doom and gloom, please do not lose faith. Go to another dating app, especially Bumble. I definitely recommend Bumble. So my next question for the Insta polls was, do you think online dating works? Now, of course, I put yes to this. Answers were either yes, no, or on the fence. Now, yes came out on top. Thank God. I'm so glad that people do still believe in the apps. It's just about finding the decent people on there. Sometimes that can be clouded with all the shit. The fence was quite close behind. I get that as well. Like, the amount of horror stories I had, it did make me lose hope. It did make me think at some point, is it me? Like, is there something wrong with me that I keep attracting these kind of people? Are they actually okay and it's me that's the weird one? So like, I was really into my yoga at the point that I met Lewis, and with yoga it helped me love myself. You don't even have to love yourself, you can just like yourself and accept yourself. And I got to that point where I accepted myself. I knew I was a good person, I knew I was worthy of love and to be in love. I just got to that point, and that was when I attracted what I deserve. And I think you do attract what you think you deserve. I'm a firm believer in that. You might not attract the amount of shit that you do get, but I do think if you don't feel 100% in yourself, then you do tend to go for more negative guys or a certain type of guy. Yeah, definitely read up and all that kind of stuff and project the best version of you. Now, the next question was, how many dates have you went on from the apps? It's under 5, 5 to 10, 10 to 20, or not gonna lie, can't remember. I was definitely in the lost count bracket. I must have went on about 30 dates over a 4 to 5 year career, and yeah, it was just honestly like, yeah. I don't even know what to say. Like, how do you say I was a dating slut? Like, I went on so many dates. I was so desperate for love, like, and to be in love and to be loved and all this rubbish. And I was so desperate for it. I went on so many dates to try and find, like, my frog to kiss. All fucking toads. And yeah, there was some nice ones in there, but nah, it was just one of them things. I seem to attract straight up sus people. I'm surprised about this though, like the highest percentage was under 5. Like, I don't know if that's good or bad. I do think if you're on dating apps, you should date as much as possible. You should go out and enjoy your life and just see what life has to offer. I feel like if it's under 5, I would say that's maybe a bit too low. You're maybe not giving dating a chance. I don't know if that's because you keep attracting guys that don't want dates, that aren't around long enough for dates, or what, or maybe you just hold it out. But I would say definitely go on dates, enjoy single life, make the most of single life. And a single life is dating. Like, you should go on dates, maybe not to my extent, but definitely go on dates and just see what's out there and see what life has to offer. Dating is fun, and yeah, the guy might be an arsehole, but if he paid, you had a good night and it was free. Am I wrong though? And I think, like, just see what happens, because when I went out and I met Lewis, I had gave up hope. I wasn't even sure if I liked him. We went on a date and I still wasn't sure if I liked him, but I feel like situations like that where you don't know, I feel like situations like that, if you didn't try to go on a date, something would never happen and they could be so right for you, like Lewis was for me. And I definitely recommend going on dates, because sometimes you just don't know. Like, it could be someone you think is a bit boring, but like they might be the kind of person that when they're in person, their personality is much better. Like, Lewis said to me that he kind of felt like things when he was typing, he was worried about coming on too strong. Some guys might be very friendly and might not want to make you feel uncomfortable, and you pick that up as boring. Definitely been there. And in person, they're not boring at all. They're actually like okay, they have chat and stuff, and it's just because they didn't want to be that guy. If a lot of guys you might pass off as boring, now some they are boring. If you do get a good warm vibe from them, give them a chance, because they might just be your Mr. Right and not your Mr. Right now. So my next question was, have any developed into something serious? The highest percentage was actually yes. So it does show that dating apps do work if you're persistent with them, if you find the dating app that works for you. I suppose it's a bit like exercising. If you want to lose weight or enjoy working out, you have to find the exercise that works for you to enjoy it. It's like dating is no different. It's about like making sure you find the right app, the right vibe, the right tone for like what you want to meet and what you want to attract, and just like you, or just to find the right app and where you're most comfortable and where you feel the most safe, secure and happiest. Dating apps can feel like such a chore, and especially if you're someone that is actively looking for love, then it can feel like never ending. But these results do show that you can find love in some of the series on dating apps if you just look in the right places, if you just give it a chance, and of course if you just like yourself a little bit more. This is like me saying, oh, if girls like themselves then boys would stop being pricks. Not at all, not at all. I just mean that when you like yourself more, you put up with less bullshit. Like, part of that is, of course, sometimes, especially me, I was guilty of missing the red flags because I was so desperate just to find someone, and I put up with the red flags. I was like, it's okay, it's normal. As a fuck, it's not normal at all. There should be no red flags, only green flags, not even amber flags, only green. I missed so many red flags, I ignored them, and that was because I did not believe in myself. And I feel like if you believe in yourself and you like yourself, you put up less shit, you know what you deserve, you know your worth, and as soon as you see a red flag or anything you're a bit meh about, you get them to fuck. And that's why it is so important to like yourself, to believe in yourself, to know your goddamn worth, hun. Know your worth. Don't date or go on dating apps until you do know your own self-worth, because take it from a gal who's been there, you'll put up with a lot of shit from guys because you're so wanting to love and to be loved. Oh, that's quite deep, isn't it? My next question was, how soon after like swiping right and chatting should you actually meet up? Answers were ASAP, fuck it, within a week, 1 to 2 weeks, 2 weeks plus. And my answer for this was actually 1 to 2 weeks. Now, there has been occasions where I was like balls deep in Tinder and I was like, okay, ASAP, fuck it, let's meet. And that is the wrong way to go. Sometimes though, I do feel when you're talking to someone, it's like, maybe I should just get this meet out of the way because it could be great, like give me a nice vibe, let's just do it. But I think that's wrong, and you should definitely try and like talk it out, get to know them a wee bit better, and totally be spontaneous. You want to be spontaneous, just do it. Like, I have had some okay situations where I'm being spontaneous, but I would say definitely 1 to 2 weeks bracket. It gives you time to have base chat, actually build up something, butterflies, like fanny flutters, like the lot. 1 to 2 weeks did come out on top, and I definitely agree with that. I think that is probably a good bracket. I think if you're waiting 2 weeks plus, you're maybe waiting too long, because here's the thing, right? If you're talking to someone for 2 weeks and you haven't met, you're going to run out of chat. Like, you want to keep some chat for dating, you want to keep some chat for when you first meet up, so that you do have something to talk about. If you're given all your chat, all your facts, all your wants to knows within the 2 weeks, what he's going to talk about when you meet up. 1 to 2 weeks is a good amount of time, as long as you're not constant chatting, because you need to keep an excitement, you need to make them want to know more. So yeah, I'll definitely say that you should meet at a time that feels ready, and not give all your chat away and not wait too long. Next question was actually one where you put how you felt in the comments, and this was the biggest turn off when chatting. So this is when you're chatting to someone, you swipe right, you're getting to know them. What is your biggest turn off? Answer was definitely when they are chatting dirty. Like, you're just getting to know them and they're coming out with the whole, oh, what you're up to, wouldn't mind being in bed with you. Why do boys boy? Like, why do men? Why do guys? What makes guys think it's okay to talk all nice to a girl? She says she's in bed, or she says she's doing something. A girl feels she can't say she's in bed or she's chilling because the guy's like, oh, wish I was there with you watching some Netflix. Zero respect. And I used to get a lot of that, and I'm like, what are you on here for? Oh, I'm on here hoping to meet someone. Like, are you? Fuck, you just want to chat? I honestly used to stress the life out of me. I thought, why am I on there chatting these kind of guys? Like, there's so much of it in dating apps as well. And when it comes to like wanting to meet up, they want to meet up in the house. You want to sit in for a chill night. I mean, I don't know what a chill night means. I used to hate that when dating, like when you're chatting and they suggested that you meet up indoors, and I'm like, That's only for one thing. Never meet a guy in his house because you know he's wanting. Always meet him in a public place because one, safety, and two, he'll not try shaggy. 3, common sense. Unless that is what you're wanting to, then by all means go to his house, but number 1, safety still applies. So I'm just going to pop up all around me people's answers. You'll see that talking dirty is one of the biggest turn-offs. It seems to be a thing a lot of girls get, and it's so shit because it can actually just put you off dating altogether. Like all the dirty talk and the innuendos and just the general of it all. Like it is so uncalled for, and I always found the biggest one was when you took it to Snapchat, and that's always the biggest risk. But when you take it to Snapchat, because here's a top tip, right? You're dating, the sooner you can add them on something like Instagram or Snapchat, the better, because then you know they are real, they are genuine, and they are who they say they are. However, the risk with Snapchat is if they are genuine, or even if they're not genuine, you I would say as much as 6 times out of 10 expect that first snap to be a dick pic. Much as 6 out of 10, like you would take it to Snapchat, you would open the message like, oh can't wait to see them, and there they are on their bed, full morning glory. It really doesn't look as good as you think it does, guys. And then it's the audacity that they then say to you, where's my pic? I didn't fucking ask for yours. Oh my god, immaturity is something else. Part is though when you then, in the future, these guys in relationships, and it's like, how did you actually get to the point of being in a relationship when my first Snapchat from you was your penis? Mind blown. Chilling out now. My next question was, what is your idea of a first date? Everyone definitely has different ideas for what a first date should be. Is it just food? Is it just drinks? Is it food plus drinks, or something fun, say mini golf, bowling, something you can get into, gritty, and it gets you closer and chatting and just general communicating? Now, the one with the most results was food plus drinks. Totally agree. I think either just food or food plus drinks is definitely the way to go. If it was just food, you might need a wee bit of courage, so like food and drinks is the perfect balance because you have a nice meal. It means you're sitting down, you are both there, you are chatting, it's longer, it's easier, you can like take breaks of chatting when you're eating, perfect, and you also have that little bit of courage beside you in the form of your favourite cocktail. But if you just go for drinks, one, you could end up just steaming, and that never ends well. 2, it can get awkward silences, you've got to sit there and engage with them the whole time. And 3, you actually see how much of a dick they are pretty early on. I do think something fun is a really good first date as well. I think doing something that brings out your competitive side, your playful side is definitely a big hit, and if I was to do dating now, I would definitely be opting for something fun. Now this one is probably the most controversial one in this whole video. Who should pay on the first date? Options were guys, girls, or 50-50 split. Now, personal opinion, I've always stood by that I feel a guy should pay on the first date, and this may be old fashioned and like so 2020 or something, right? But hear me out. Guy pays, it shows 1, he's genuine, 2, he's actually maybe interested, 3, it shows that he is a kind person, he doesn't mind spending money on you if he's willing to do that straight up and take like financial gain of the date. Then it shows that he is a nice person, he's not snidey or anything, and it shows a kind of warmth to someone. People actually put 50-50 split, and I was really surprised at that. Obviously I have my opinion on it, but I was really surprised that so many people put 50-50 split, because how do you know if he is willing to buy you gifts? Like, I'm not meaning anything large, but Christmas, birthdays, and like take you out for a meal. You don't, because your first date almost sets up the pattern and the chain of events for every date after. So that would mean every time you go out, he would probably expect it to always be a 50-50 split. And I do stand by, guys should be treating you to a meal sometimes, girls should treat a guy too to a meal sometimes, but I just think if you set it up from the get-go that it's a 50-50 split, guys are the kind of people to just cling on to that and always expect it. But yeah, maybe this will give you like a new kind of opinion on it, but I would definitely recommend letting the guy pay in the first day so long as you don't set it up as a pattern for him to always pay and take advantage of him. I feel like if the guy offers on the first date and then you turn around and say no, let's go halves, and he said yeah, sure, what does that say about him? Like, if he jumps at the chance to go halves, I would say he wasn't a guy that's that serious about you. He's like someone that's just like not going to be nice at treating you well. Definitely offer to pay, or like get a drink, or like get him a drink or something, but definitely offer to pay. But if he's like no, I'm resisting, that's a nicer guy than one who literally jumps at the chance of 50-50 split. Like, isn't that alarm bells? That's just my opinion. That's just my tea. My next question was, do you think there is a rule for when you should kiss on a first date? So basically, should you just winch them? In Scotland, that means kiss. Is there a rule for it? Like, should you not kiss on the first date, or should you just say fuck it and winch them? Of course I said fuck it and winch them. Like, I think you should just go for it. Like, why should there be a rule on a first date on whether you should just winch someone or not? Go for them. That also means kiss. Passionately. Stuck in about it, that means get in there, girl. Winch their face off. Like, here's a fun fact, right? So me and Lewis went on a first date, and I didn't really know how I felt at the end of it, and I was like, do you know what? I'm going to kiss him, because I feel sometimes you don't really know until you kiss them. So I was like, let's see if the sparks fly, and they bloody did. And honestly, if we hadn't shared that kiss on our first date, I don't know if there'd have been a second. He says the same. He felt we weren't compatible, and it was the kiss that changed it all, and it was a really good kiss. Well done, babe. It was a really good kiss, and that is the reason we went on a second date, and that is the reason we now have a flat 2 years in. So I would definitely recommend kissing on the first date, because sometimes you don't actually know or feel a spark until you exchange saliva. So yeah, just winch them. 86% said just winch them as well. That is what I'm talking about. Just winch them, because sparks will fly, butterflies will be going about your tummy, fanny flutters, the lot. Just do it. Sorry Nike, you don't have to come off after me with a copyright claim. So kind of bouncing off that one, the next question was, do you need to feel a spark on the first date? And by that I mean, do you need to feel a spark on the first date to go on a second one? So do you need to be feeling it all to agree to a second date? The choices for this were either spark needed or give it a chance, and most people went for spark needed, but second chance was really close behind. Now, I just told my story. I would say give it a second chance, because if I hadn't kissed him and hadn't on that second date, we would be where we are now. And I would say don't hold everything on a spark. If you've kissed them and you don't feel anything, maybe patch. But if you haven't kissed them and you're not sure, give it a second chance. Like, I would say there should be a 2-date rule. If you don't feel anything after the second date, you probably aren't going to at all. I would definitely say there's too much pressure on a first date to be perfect, to be pure, to feel everything. And that's just not like how life and the anatomy works. Like, you shouldn't just feel everything on a first date. It should be a slow burn. And I definitely think you're feeling everything in the first date. One, that's probably going to end up just being a lust situation, and two, it's probably going to end up just being a sexual situation. Tell me I'm wrong. For me, on my second date with Lewis, that is when I really felt everything. I had butterflies, I had everything. So it definitely is a tried and tested opinion. But this next question is juicy. How many dates should you go on before you have sex? Everyone has a complex opinion on this. It's the one question I've always wanted to know. The results for this kind of took me back a wee bit. Like, this is a no judgment zone, and I stand by that. But I didn't expect the results. I honestly didn't. Answers that you could choose somewhere whenever you want to, whenever it feels right, whenever you want to. Classic and well known 3-date rule. 3 to 5 dates or 5 dates plus. My answer was 3 to 5 dates. Now I do feel like you can have sex too soon and it just ends up being a sexual thing where they don't take you that seriously, and if they were just after that then they're not, like, the whole situation isn't screaming commitment. Most people have had sex whenever they want to and it's turned into a relationship. The top answer was actually whenever you want to, and that did surprise me because I thought more people would put 3-date rule or 3 to 5 dates, but people mostly put whenever you want to, and no judgement at all. Do it when you want to. Like, if you feel like doing it the first date, the third date, the fifth, the sixth, just do it. Honestly, like, whenever it feels right, I guess it feels right. And for me, that was always after a 3-date point where I know it's actually heading somewhere. Like, I prefer to know it's heading the right direction, but of course, for other people, you might find yourself in that situation where you're in a house together, you're in a gaff together or something, and it happens, and by all means, jump on them. Can I just say though, I'm talking about this from such a female point of view. Guys participate in this as well, so this is guys' opinion as well as girls, and I found shockingly some of my male friends had a 3-date rule, and I always thought they were shaggers, but just shows you that guys can surprise it. When they like someone, and I think like guys have that kind of split thing where they go on nights out, they pull and all that, but when they actually like someone, they're more reserved, they're more held back, and they're not dicks. I think guys have that kind of two personality, but so do girls. Like, I used to go on a night out and I used to get like, oh, like loving this and loving like, mwah. And on dates I'm more reserved and I'm like, no sex, no funny stuff, no getting down to business, tiesto, and just seeing what happens. And I was much more reserved in night out, Lauren. Finally, the last question, and the last question was aimed for my girls. It was for the girls, and it was, have you ever been sent an unsolicited dick pic? After seeing the comments people put, that was obviously mostly dirty chat, turned them off, and it seems we've all been victims of it. It was funny that I had put this in because I was like, surely it's not just me that's left traumatised from opening Snapchat. So the two options were traumatised, because you are actually traumatised by it, it's so and thankfully no. Any surprise, but also quite shocking that the top answer by a massive margin was traumatised. Like, guys, what are you playing at? Why do you think it's okay without a girl's consent to just slide into your DMs or Snapchat anything and just get your dick out? The worst thing is though, a lot of guys will send you that and you'll open it and they'll then try to continue something from it, and it's like, you could literally be with your mum, your nan, having a family dinner, and you never know what you're going to open up in Snapchat. Like, I used to freak out because sometimes I'd just be going about my day, I'd be out in public, I'd be in the gym, and I'd open a Snapchat and it's a dick. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, anyone who see my phone would think, oh my god, what even is she? Then they're like, oh, what do you think? I think you're absolutely disgusting. I think you're an arsehole. I think you're a twat. I think you're a total belly. Like, why are you even thinking about doing that? I didn't ask for it. I didn't want it. I definitely am not thinking about it while I'm in the gym. Like, I just don't know why they think it's okay. And it's like any time of the day as well. It's not just like exclusively night time when they're like bored and chilling. Like, but even then, that's not an excuse. It's just so rude. But the rudest one of them all is when they send you one, you open it unexpectedly 9 times out of 10, and they then turn around and say, are you going to send one back? I didn't ask for your photo. I didn't ask to see that. I didn't want it. I was just going about my day and I opened my snap and it's right there in my face. Like, I did not ask for that. Why do you think because you shared that I should send one back? Like, the absolute cheek. I just don't understand why guys have that mentality where they think if they send you a pic, you have to send one back. Sorry hun, when was this arrangement agreed on? Did I not read the terms and conditions again? Honestly, so disturbing, and I'm definitely traumatised. And I used to take pictures on my iPad, so obviously you screenshot, I would flag it in Snapchat, and I would take it on my iPad. This is not creepy at all, but I would take it on my iPad because, one, these things can come back to haunt you, and girls can end up thinking you're the one firing into their guy when their guy's the one sending unsolicited dick pics and they're actually the problem. So I would always say, like, save that for a rainy day. Not like a rainy day, like, not like that, as in if anything ever came at me where I was going to get blamed for their boyfriend's inability to keep his dick in his pants, then I had proof of what he was actually doing and the way he was chatting. And this became a common thing that I had to do to protect myself when single, because you get a hell of a lot of girls sliding out your DMs like, why are you talking to a boyfriend? Like, one, he said he was single, but two, it was really him trying to take that into a different direction. And girls honestly just have this kind of filter on when it comes to their men sometimes, and I just don't understand it, but they do. And keep your receipts, and obviously Snapchat makes that difficult, but get another phone, get another device and keep your receipts, because trust me, they will save you. However, that is all rant over. Let's de-stress our bodies and get those nasty looking mushroom penises out of our mind. Definitely been brought back to some traumatising times. I think I'm suffering a wee bit of PTSD now. It was a lot, but we went there. It was all for the YouTube, and I'm glad we did it. I definitely feel like this has been a therapy session for me, and now I can just move on and get over it. That is it for me. I really hope you enjoyed this video. It was probably one of the most relatable videos I have done yet, and let me know your dating horror stories down below. Let me know your dating success stories down below, and just let me know everything in general, because I would really love to hear it. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up, and definitely stay tuned for part 2, which will be next week, and that is all things relationship. And I have taken a look, I've taken a sneak peek of the answers, and trust me, it is so gritty, I can't even. So stay tuned for that, make sure you're subscribed and your wee notification bells on so that you get notified when that video is uploaded as well. Do you want to get involved in these juicy polls? Are you someone with a lot of opinions? Then remember to follow me, and just follow me in general at that Bengal. And that's it. See you in part 2. Stay safe and sassy. Bye.